Silent Thunder Station. Characters. 1. Anna, 35-year-old. A successful surgeon. Her life is sterile, precise, and controlled. She hasn't cried for 20 years. But now, her hands are starting to tremble before surgeries. 2. Anechka, 6-year-old. A little girl in a rumpled dress, stuck in the night when everything changed. She personifies pure, unalloyed fear. 3. Track keeper Solomon. A man in the uniform of an old railroad worker. He moves people between the floors of their memory. His voice sounds like the rustle of old pages. 4. Emptiness. A silent wall of fog that engulfs words and feelings, preventing them from reaching their goal. Part 1. System Crash. Anna stood in the pre-operating room, looking at her hands. They were trembling. For a surgeon of her caliber, this was a sentence. She closed her eyes, trying to use the deep breathing technique. But instead of darkness, she saw a flashy old hallway, the smell of wet wool, and the sound of breaking glass. At the same second, the white light of the operating room faded. Anna found herself on the platform of a strange station. The sky here was the color of twilight, and instead of the train schedule, the dates of her life shone on the scoreboard. An old man came up to her with a lantern. Solomon, the Today Forever train is delayed, he said. The paths are blocked by your own silence. Anna, I need to go back. I have a patient on the table. Anna tried to maintain a commanding tone. You are the patient. Solomon replied softly. Your right hand is shaking because it's trying to reach the one whose hand you once let go. Go to the dead-end path, number 6. Your fear lives there. Pause for reflection. Take a deep breath. Imagine that you are standing on this platform. What is the brightest date on the scoreboard? What does it remind you of? Part 2. Dead end number 6. Anna walked along the tracks. The air was getting colder, smelling of thunderstorms and old dust. At the end of the track, there was an abandoned car. It was dark inside. Only from the farthest corner came ragged, frightened breathing. Anna entered. Shards crunched under her feet. Not glass, but old promises. Go away, came a thin, broken voice. If you're here, they're recoming too. Anna turned on the flashlight and saw Anya. The girl huddled under the seat, clutching her knees. Her eyes were huge, full of horror that had not faded in 30 years. Anechka, it's me. I'm you, Anna said, feeling the ice wall crumble inside her. No, you're an adult. You're cold. You're like them. You don't smell like home. You smell like a hospital and loneliness. Go away. The void began to grow between them, a thick gray fog. Anna's words faded in it, not reaching the child. In order for the dialogue to take place, Anna needed to take off her white coat, mental protection. Part 3. The Great Dialogue, Adult and Child. Anna sat down on the dirty floor of the car. Straight into the dust, she took off her watch, threw aside the imaginary scalpel of her control. Anna, I know why you're hiding. It was very loud that night, wasn't it? You thought that if you sat quietly, the world wouldn't break. Anichka from under the seat. The world is broken. Dad was screaming, Mom was crying, and I just broke that cup. It's because of me, right? Is that why they left? Anna, no, my little one. The cup was just glass. Sometimes they get lost in their pain and forget that there is the sun nearby. You weren't to blame, never. Anechka, if I were Jude, it would be quiet. I'm afraid to go out. Here, under the bench, you can't see me. If you can't see me, you can't offend me. Why did you come? To make me go out where it hurts. Anna, I came to say that I am sorry. Anechka paused for a moment. For what? Anna, for leaving you here for 30 years. I was building a career. I was strong. I learned not to feel anything, so as not to hear your crying anymore. I locked you in this car so that you would not interfere with my being a successful Anna. But without you, I'm not real. My hands are shaking because they want to hug you, and I didn't let them. The emptiness began to thin out. Anechka leaned out a little from under the seat. Anechka, you're really... Did you feel sorry for me? Anna, I was hurting for you. Every time someone raised my voice, I felt you tremble inside. Every time I needed to show tenderness, I was scared, because tenderness leads to you, and you were locked in. Forgive me for thinking you were my weakness. You are my greatest strength. Your ability to feel is what I lost. Immersion. Pause. Imagine this dialogue. What would you say to your little version right now? Let the words flow uncensored. Write or speak them. Part 4. Breaking Loneliness. Anechka slowly came out into the light. She looked so tiny compared to the adult Anna. If I go out with you, the girl whispered. What are we going to do? Everything in your world is so gray and clean. There is no place to play. You can't break cups there. We'll rebuild everything. Anna held out her hand. I am the architect of my life now. We'll leave the surgical precision for the operating room, but at home. At home, we will paint on the walls. We will cry when we are sad and laugh out loud. I will no longer pretend that you do not exist. Anechka gently touched Anna's palm. At the moment of this contact, the car shuddered. The old walls began to crumble, turning into flower petals. Solomon stood outside, holding up a lantern. The paths are clear, he announced. But remember, a child should not drive a train. The train is driven by an adult, but the child chooses the music that sounds in the cars. Anna took Anechka in her arms. It turned out that fear weighs very little if you don't try to run away from it. Part 5. Return and New Breath. Anna opened her eyes in the preoperative room. Only a few seconds passed. The nurse touched her shoulder. Anna Sergeyevna, are you all right? Shall we start? Anna looked down at her hands. They were calm. But it was not the cold calm of steel before. It was the calmness of a living tree, deeply rooted in the earth. Yes, she said. But first, she went to the mirror and smiled at her reflection. Not the doctor's smile on duty, but the childish, slightly cunning smile. The operation went perfectly. But in the evening, when Anna returned home, she did something she had never done. She bought the most beautiful, expensive porcelain cup. When she came to the kitchen, she dropped it on the floor. The fragments scattered with a melodious ring. Anna looked at them, listened to the silence inside her, and realized that the world had not collapsed. Inside her, Anechka clapped her hands. It's okay, Anna whispered. We'll just buy a new one. In the meantime, let's dance. Practical completion for you. This story is a metaphor for your path. An encounter with a frightened self always requires the recognition that we ourselves were the ones who locked this child in the wagon of our subconscious. Let's take one step towards dialogue. Imagine that your little self is sitting next to you right now. It is very frightened by something from your present. What does it see through your eyes? And what can you, as a wise adult, promise it to do in the next 24 hours to make it feel safe?